Dealing with culture fit has been proven to be quite tricky. And the reason for that is that we many times are unconscious and even unconscious incompetent when it comes to innovation management and culture for innovation management. There is a model from back in the 70s from Noel Butch that create a ladder where you walk from being unconscious incompetent, which is a very happy stage because you don't know what you don't know. And then you move up to being conscious incompetent, which is kind of frustrating and annoying because you do realize you don't know. And then you move up to the conscious competence level, which is kind of annoying for other people because you start running around and training and coaching people. And the master level is being unconscious incompetent, where you actually make decisions based on competence, but you might not be fully aware of it. So how come this model is of interest when it comes to culture fit? Well, what we have seen is that it's quite interesting when you start reaching out and assessing the culture explicitly in a company when it comes to innovation management, or for that matter, any kind of culture assessment. People tend to have a hard time to answer questions or give examples, but they might actually in the past been doing quite much innovation work, but they don't have a common language for it. They don't have the terminology, and they might see things in very different ways, and they might not be formally trained. So dealing with culture, the first step is actually to create an awareness. What are we looking for? And for doing that, we have created a framework as a starting point for laying a foundation for a common language to start work with culture aspects of an organization when it comes to innovation management. The framework for assessing innovation and innovation management is divided into 3 main areas and 3 supporting areas. The first one is the why area, where we start with the strategic question whether you are in for growing the profit or growing the market. And the profit could also be seen as usage or value for like a citizen or a patient in the healthcare industry. And the market is equivalent to members or citizens. Then you have the type of innovation strategy, and it could be that you are in for incremental improvements or radical innovation or both. The third aspect of the why is the innovation strategy in itself. The first strategy is need seeker. Are you in for need, satisfying need? The second one, market reader, which means that you follow the market. And the third one, technology driven, which means that you use technology in new ways. The next area is the area where we explore what. And the what part is what type of innovation are you aspiring for working with? Is it product and product development, or processes, or organization structure, management system, production, business model, or services? And the last main part is the part that we call how. And the how part is the ability, in contradiction to why and what, which is aspirational. And the how part is divided into a number of subsections. The first one is leadership styles. And we have 5 leadership styles that we base our framework on. And the first leadership style is what we call the cauldron. The cauldron means that you doing experiments, throwing things into a cauldron and see what's happening. Pretty experimental. The next one is spirit staircase, where you work systematically, step by step. The third one, fertile field, which is like the gardener. You plant the seed and see what's happening. The packman, acquiring, and the explorer that actually are in for exploring. Then we have 66 identified capabilities based on current thinking. And we look on these capabilities in a number of lenses. The first lens is what we call the innovation aspects, and there is a separate chapter in this course for that. The second lens is the innovation personas lens. The innovation personas lens is based on work from Tim Kelly and the 10 Phases of Innovation at IDEO in Palo Alto. Then we have the third lens, which is innovation process lens, where we look upon ideation, product selection, development, and commercialization, the 4 phases of the innovation. And then we have the support part of the framework, which is where, when, and who, that also could be elaborated on. Based on current thinking and our database and the framework, we have been able to do an advanced correlation analysis to figure out how to support the 3 different horizons. From the first horizon, which is today's business, the second horizon, which is about testing for the future, and the third horizon, which is the unknown. And it's very strong correlation between leadership capabilities and strategy towards the different horizons. In the first horizon, we can see that market reader and incremental technology drivers supporting. We can also see that the leadership style spirit staircase is supporting. Typically, you have a clear vision, you have goal-oriented leadership, core focus, and market insight. And competency-wise, you are fully assembled. And typically, you do return on investment calculus. In the second horizon, which is the growth business, you have a strategy based on technology, most likely partly radical, and you also focus on need. The leadership style is typically Cauldron, Fertile Field, or Pac-Man. The capability that supports the second horizon at most is platform and organizing in platforms, typically components that could be very quickly assembled or reassembled and rebuilt into something new. Design thinking, working with user experience, prototyping, speed to market, product selection, and ideation. The competencies might not be fully there, you might need to complement. When it comes to metrics, it is more of understanding the net present value and do that based on prototyping and hypotheses and try to figure out, okay, this is maybe how it might look in the future. You can't really do a full-blown business case. In the third horizon, which focuses the future business, it is typically driven by radical technology and need. The leadership style is typically explorer, and here it is other set of capability that are required, like knowledge sharing, co-creation, open innovation, anthropology, and technology watch. And here the competence requirement is totally uncertain. And metrics-wise, well, one of the few possibilities to do some sort of metrics here is to actually try to work with scenarios. And based on that, ironing out options that you can value and try to measure and take action on.